Good day, lords and ladies, and welcome back to Medieval Knights, the channel that brings you the best in Let's Plays, tips and trick videos, and streams every Wednesday and Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I am TJ West, and if you enjoy this video, please be sure to hit those like buttons and subscribe to follow Medieval Knights. So without further delay, let us begin. Thank you for joining me on today's episode of What the Flax? Today's episode is going to be a couple of different things. I did just post that video stating that it will be going on hiatus while I do some work to gather more information, more detailed information for new updates that have come out, new things that could be fixed in the future, and just overall better episodes for you, the viewers. Now, today I have been in touch with Todd D again. And he actually has a save file that is pretty far in right now. He's to the point where he takes the first couple days, does that beginning grind, and then he's stuck at the end of the year just kind of waiting on his house for the season to change. So because of that, he has sent me some very good materials as far as age differences and different things he's tested out and I've tested out. And now we have come down to brass tacks. So we finally think that we have the correct information, good information for my viewers and the people that actually pay attention to What the Flax and follow it. So the first thing I'm going to mention is the age difference in villagers. So as you recruit villagers, there isn't necessarily well, let's just put it this way. There isn't an age gap that you need to worry about. So for example, some people have stated that if they waited, or not waited, but they had two villagers that were 10 years apart, they wouldn't get married because of the age difference. Well, Todd here, and the picture that I have that I will post up now. So as you can see here, Mederic is age 61 and her husband Zemowit is age 48. So that right there is about a 13-year gap. Todd there has a family that is about 13 to 14 years apart, the husband and wife are. You can tell from the ages there that they are past that 10-year mark, so it's really not a matter of the age difference, but more or less how happy they are, and basically if they're in a job that they like, if they're in a house they like, and if they end up liking the person that they're with. Because when you assign people to houses, they might not get along together to start with, so it might take 2 years instead of just a year for them to get married, or maybe even 3 years. It's really just a matter of patience, because just like it takes you a while to go through and flirt with somebody, as you can see right there, I still have the quest in the upper right hand corner, get a wife. Well, I have been working on flirting with Gisela there in Gustovia. She's a new NPC and actually a copy of, I think, the woman in Lesnica. And I'm actually working on marrying her for, I believe, her hunting abilities. I'm not quite sure what her stats are going to be to start with. So because of that, it does take time for you to get a wife. It also takes your villagers time to get married. So if we look here on mine, now I did post up one of his, a picture of his earlier. But as you can see here, everybody is basically happy. Blanca here is a hunter. She's happy with where she's at. She's got a 5 in that stat. And to explain that a little bit further, we have also been noticing a difference in the skill gathering and how long it takes for villagers to grind those skills out. And so just so you know, some of these things are a work in progress. For example, let me see if I can come up with a good one. So hunting and extraction are a couple of good ones. So here we have Onold is a farmer. He's at 4. He started at about a 3, so he's not leveling up quite as fast. Blanca here started out as a 3 in hunting, and she's up to 5 now, so she is actually gaining points towards that very, very quickly. So as the developers work on adjusting the ecosystem and the economy and just the basic way things work, the skills and the leveling up of the villagers in those skills is going to fluctuate depending. So sometimes they might nerf one to where It's really hard for your villagers to gain skill points in those, and other times they may make other ones that are really just extreme. So your villager can go from level 1 to level 10 in just a few years, whereas others will take a decade maybe in game before they finally get up to that level 10 skill for that skill, basically. So with that being said, it's just a matter of being patient as far as getting married. It's a matter of being patient as far as skills. And let me check my notes here real quick. I just want to make sure that I'm not leaving anything out. I do this without scripting it, so I just look at my notes and try to flow it as best I can for the viewers so they can understand it. And it just seems that vocalization is one of the best ways to explain things. Vocalization and showing pictures and just, basically putting the proof out there that, hey, these rumors have come up, it's time to squash them, that's not the way things are going. And if that is the way things are going for you, it might be time to drop a bug report on the Toplets Discord just to let them know, hey, this is bugging out. You might want to take a look at it and see if it needs recoded anywhere. So with that being said, basically this What the Flax episode is going to be kind of shorter, but I am going to go ahead and go through some of these with you. So Onald here, he is in a simple house, and if we change him, I can't change him just yet just because I don't have an extra house. But let's see if we can find the family. So here's that. We'll pull him up. Just says lumberjack status, nothing. So it would seem as though, let me see here. So those two are raised just because they like where they are. Let me see. So here we have Dobrawa and Sibor. They're about 6 years apart. They're happy. They're okay. They're not quite wed yet. As far as I'm aware, it's not saying that they are. We'll go to this one now. We have Olnold and Blanca. They're only about 3 years apart. And then let's check this one. About 5 years apart there. See, I kind of try to keep my people within 10 years age difference. Just because I personally don't think I would be dating somebody who is 12 to 15 years younger than me. That would seem kind of weird. But back in those days, it was acceptable because there weren't as many people around. Let's just say there wasn't as many fish in the sea, if you will. And so again, I have already cut to Todd's proof that villagers will marry outside of a 10-year gap because they will. Back in the old days, you could have a 60-year-old man who was maybe a general or just a high-ranking politician, and he may marry a 20-year-old woman as part of a agreement between households, if you will. So back then, it was a lot more commonplace for the age difference to be way far apart, whereas now it's not so much. So I don't think Toplets was really working on setting an age difference in the game. I think it was just the villagers are taking longer to basically like each other. Now, I'm not sure 100% if their jobs affect that. For example, if somebody who is good at diplomacy and needs the storekeeper job will actually go through and have problems marrying somebody with like an extraction, like if the two skills kind of butt heads together. I'm not too sure of that. And I bring that up and mention that due to the fact that the different dialogue options when you're talking to them. So I'm not sure if those dialogue options are input into the game between villagers, but that could also be one of the reasons why your villagers just aren't marrying right away. So my suggestion is give them between, we'll just say 2 to 5 years to actually tie the knot and start making babies pretty much. Now, every villager marriage that happens, the amount of children is going to depend on the beds that's in it. So these houses have 4 beds, so 2 parents and 2 kids. Now, with Rasimir, the character that you play, as far as I'm aware, it has been limiting people to 1 kid. I have known some people that have had multiples, so it might just be not giving it enough time. It could be having to reactivate the dialogue option with your wife. I do not have a wife currently on this save file, so that'll probably be what I work on when I stream again. And basically, that's about it. Don't get too disheartened if your villagers aren't getting married. Just keep doing what you're doing and see if that helps it out. Again, it just takes time. There isn't really an age difference, and as you saw with the picture that I posted from Todd D, he has a married couple that is about 13 to 14 years difference. So the age limit isn't implemented, it's not in effect, it's just a rumor currently. That does not necessarily mean that they won't implement it in the future. And also, the villager skills, they do currently level up at different times. For example, they will gain different skill experiences for doing the same thing over and over and over again. But say farming, being a field hand, it could take 10 years to get up to level 10, whereas with extraction, it could take only 5 years. And that is something that Toplets and the developers are working to correct. It is one of those things that they just have to keep messing with it until they find the right balance. So be prepared and just mentally prepare yourself for new updates changing how quickly they earn skill points and raise those skills in general, because it is an ongoing thing that they are working to get a perfect balance for. It is not something you can just put in and expect it to be perfectly balanced as soon as it is implemented. So just keep those things in mind. If you think something's wrong, just try and give it more time and just keep doing what you're doing. So this has been another episode of What the Flax. Thank you for joining me, and have a good one, people. Let's keep it medieval. Thank you all again for joining me today. I'm gonna stay warm here in our nice little house, light the campfire, get it cozy. If you would like to see more, please hit those like and subscribe buttons and ring that bell to be notified of future uploads. Live streams are currently every Wednesday and Friday beginning at 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, with the possibility of new dates to be released soon. Check me out on Twitch under Medieval Knights. I am TJ West, and let's keep it medieval, people.